Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the climax of our What's on the Tube experience, presenting your narrator and your host, Joseph Perono. Thank you, random narrator that I don't know who your name is, but guess what? I appreciate the intro. Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube. I hope you're all doing well. I don't know why I'm doing a close-up shot, but I'm also checking my hair. It's summertime. Another thing, if you have never seen any of my content when I produce this in summertime, my hair for some reason gets very it doesn't get frizzy. It just, like, every time I comb it, it just very much betrays me. And also I'm checking my neckline. I don't seem to be having a good one today, but I'm gonna manage. But if you welcome to What's on the Tube, if this is your first time viewing, or if you're back because you're just holding out for our Thursday content, we got a good one for you today. If you were unaware by the title of this video, or the show title for this episode review, or this review in general, we're talking about Jane the Virgin. This is something I was very excited to talk about. When I was picking out the shows I want to do in between this time period, between Nancy Drew episode reviews and the Stargirl episode reviews, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to tackle on something I wanted to talk about. I feel like this could be something I could talk about forever. Because, well, not forever, but I could stretch this out if I want to. But in the veins of something I did similarly with another special episode, this is the 75th episode. It doesn't really matter because I'm just making excuses. This is actually the 75th episode of What's on the Tube. It's very special to me. So, yeah, Jane the Virgin. It was another one of those shows in my history where I was watching it because I got Netflix. I was not having much of a life, so as soon as I came home from work, I would turn on a show on Netflix and binge it. And Jane the Virgin was one of those shows. It's like, well, it's technically is a telenovela, and I'm Hispanic, if you were unaware, because some people confuse me as Desi for some reason, which I'm not. I'm Hispanic. I'm a Peruvian. So growing up in my household, it was very much between my grandma and then my mom and dad when they were still married. It would be on the TV, not this one, but just another TV. There would be a telenovela on, and I would not understand a single thing of it because I did not speak Spanish back then. I don't speak Spanish now, but I at least didn't understand Spanish by then. I can only understand the movements. I understand the actions. Maybe I can get a word or two because my grandma would translate it roughly because she never spoke English, so it would be a very horrible transition. But anyway, so telenovelas have always been in my mind, but I never really, gravitated towards that. And if you don't know what a telenovela is, take soap operas and turn them in Spanish. That's pretty much it. If you need to know that, that's a telenovela for you. I could get into them if I want to. I mean, there's still telenovelas happening today. It's not something that is, stopped. But I have no interest concerning the fact I watch a ton of other shows. It is if I watch a telenovela, which another thing you gotta know about telenovelas, they produce content fairly quickly. There's always a new episode every single day. So if you miss an episode a day, you're screwed. You're going to forget. Because I don't think they air reruns. I really don't know. Again, I don't know anything about telenovelas. That's a different channel for a different country. So I don't know. I could be wrong there. But anyway, so to kind of give now that the background stage is over, that's why I was interested in Jane the Virgin. Because Jane the Virgin was technically based on a telenovela called what was the Spanish name for it? It's probably just the Spanish version, like Jane La Virginia. I'm sorry, I still don't know how to speak Spanish. I apologize for the people who worked on these shows. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering the culture, my own culture. So I'm sorry, but anyway, so that's why I was interested in the show. It had won a Golden Globe before, or an Emmy. I forgot which one. No, it was an Emmy. I'm sorry, I'm getting the two confused. It won an Emmy. So it was an Emmy Award nomination, which was the first the CW has ever produced. So that was kind of like a big, a big step on. Like, the CW, people would give it a lot of, not a bad reputation, but it wouldn't really credit it as one of the main, big networks. But the moment it got that Emmy nomination was just a proven feat that this show was something else. And this show was definitely something else. As it definitely took the elements of a telenovela, but made it work in the weekly, episodic format that us American viewers are used to. And it worked in the favor. It made every single character very likable, as well as you understand their motivations, and then there would be some point that they would not. Now, again, I could definitely split this off and do a split 5-season, each season gets its own review type thing. I could easily do that. I sadly do not have the time to do that because between work and finishing up school and, still having to binge a ton of other shows, it's not on my schedule right now. But hopefully maybe in the near future, if I'm still doing the show, maybe it'll be one of those. I'll give an updated version of this. I'm just giving my memories and a very brief series review on it. So hopefully you apologize for my... I usually butcher stuff on this show often, so I apologize if I'm butchering things fairly more so because of my I still remember a majority of the show. Season 5 just came out last year, and oh my god, I love every season. Just gets better. It really does. The story makes sense. They do typical telenovela elements to it, which again, given the source material it's based on, that's how it is. But anyway, so let's get down to it. So Jane the Virgin, if you are not understanding by the title, it focuses on Jane Villanueva, which I have butchered her last name. I apologize to the entire cast and crew who had to memorize that name for 5 years. I apologize. And she is, well, yes, by the title of the show, she is still technically a virgin. She is your typical Hispanic woman that has the belief that a woman should not have sex until they're married. It's not very common nowadays. Definitely is not. Everyone's already losing it by 12, 13, 14, 15, around that time period. Spoilers, I'm not included in that list, so get that thought out of your mind. So this is her story, as well as, seeing her life, kind of transform in, again, another typical television show premise where something goes wrong that pertains to this element that she has been holding to her character since she was able to speak. And now how does she deal with the repercussions of that, as well as dealing with modern day issues, as well as dealing with the telenovela format that this show is sort of framed in. So, and again, the virgin factor is not her defining feature. I mean, it is at times made up as a joke or made as a very weird fact that it became prevalent throughout, I think, the first season and a half until season 3. And again, I won't be giving spoilers for these. I won't. I'm just giving my very brief thoughts on this. So if you still want to see Jane the Virgin, go ahead. It's on Netflix, all 5 seasons. Go ahead. It's 100 chapters. It's worth it. So to get back to my point on the matter, I forgot my point on the matter. But anyway, Jane Villanueva she wants to be a writer. She wants to be able to publish a book. And, her family life was predominantly female. Her mom was a teenage mom. Her dad left them before she was born, and her mom was already being taken care of by a single mom who had lost her husband years beforehand. So it's been the Villanueva household. It's a very strong, woman focused household, and the grandma Abuelita, or Alba, which is very specifically weird, like Albahuita. So it was a very fun phrase on the words. That was clever. That was clever. She's your standard traditional Hispanic woman who believes that yes, you should not have sex before you get married, and you should only save it for the man you love, that sort of thing. And compared to her daughter Xiomara, who was completely the opposite, who wanted to get into the pants of the first boy she sees. She did. Turns out that guy got her pregnant, and he left her. And now she kind of wants to make sure Jane doesn't have that experience as she's going through womanhood. And we get to see her via flashbacks, and getting to see how does that connect with the current life lesson of the episode of this week, that sort of thing. She does have a boyfriend named Michael, who is a police officer, who respects her the standard she has that she's going to wait till marriage. I think Michael is honestly one of the best human beings on the planet. I think that was the one thing. Michael can make your mistake. He'll make your typical mistakes. There and there. We all make them. But all in all, he's a very respectful human being, and he understands that, okay, this is her decision. I want to be with her, and I'm going to stick to it. And then how the plot of the show works is that Jane, while she's coincidentally getting her... It's kind of weird to say. I mean, I know I just did episode 69 where I kind of went a little bit unrestricted on this. I kind of don't want to do it here. But she's getting a checkup on her private parts which coincidentally enough, next door, the doctor is also taking care of her sister-in-law who wants to get inseminated with her husband's sperm because she's kind of sensing some discourse in the marriage, so having kids in the picture would kind of at least solidify that, okay, I'm tying down this guy for at least 18 years to the rest of his life. So, however, the doctor, Louisa, I also forgot to mention the wife's name is Petra. Louisa is kind of distraught because she just broke up with her girlfriend, and in her confusion and her mental state, she switches the two patients. So one is your typical checkup, and Petra gets the checkup, and Jane gets the artificial insemination. So, and then about a couple of days later, Jane passes out because she's beginning to experience the early onset of pregnancy. And the moment where the doctor just tells her and her mom, and I might spoil some parts of the first episode, I'm sorry I had to do that. Like, the moment, and again, this is the whole premise of the show, so this was going to happen, so I'm not really spoiling things, but I kind of am, so bear with me a little bit. The moment where she gets that revelation that, oh, you're pregnant, and her and her mom laugh because she never had sex before, so how can you get pregnant without having sex? It's kind of like the explanation that moms and dads give their kids when they're asking where do babies come from. Like, oh, it comes from a stork in the sky, and there's a movie called Storks, which I somehow own the DVD for, so let that be a lesson to you. So it was funny, and it was also another thing, it's like, and this was a joke they made. I'm sorry for ruining the joke, but I gotta mention it here. There's a joke that Jane's best friend makes that you're gonna the first person who's going to stretch out your insides, and I'm saying this in a very PG-13 terminology, is going to be your son. And that's not meant to be a weird thing to say. It is the truth. The first person who's technically going to stretch her out is going to be her son before anyone else. And okay, so barring spoilers from there, so the father of this baby is someone named Raphael, and who's the husband of Petra, who's very much he's a businessman. He owns a hotel with his father and his wife, and you know he had saved that sperm vial because he had gotten cancer years before from his old rebellious ways. So basically, the cancer pretty much reduced any sort of possibility of him having kids, so he saved some sperm in case he does want to have kids with the right person. So Petra pretty much was never meant to be that right person because he never offered it to her willingly. Petra actually stole it from him. So now the whole factor of like, okay, so immediately beginning on, there's the topic of abortion. Very early on in the season. I think, or maybe they glossed it over, I don't remember, because there was initial confusion with Alba. It's like, oh my, ay Dios míos, my what's the granddaughter Spanish term? I forgot. Oh, why isn't my friend here? He or she would pretty much help me out here. But anyway, so there was some debate, like, should she keep the baby? This was a mistake, this shouldn't be happening. And there was some debate, and I'll give the CW credit for tackling on that storyline. Like, this was an accidental insemination. It rarely happens, but it has happened. Jane doesn't even know the father, and should she even keep the baby? So the whole first season is designed around that logic, as well as, Jane meeting the actual father of this potential baby, and then, knowing right and wrong, and, all that sort of thing. And she does the right thing by the end of the story, and the journey that, these two worlds are colliding, and, Jane is kind of at the center of it, is very interesting, especially when we get introduced to her real father, who is conveniently a telenovela actor named Rogelio de la Vega. I'll focus. Shout out to Jamie Campbell, also in Coco. I mean, he's also in a new show called Broke, which I haven't seen yet. Maybe I'll see it whenever summertime happens and all my shows are over. Maybe I'll go check that out. But he's a really great actor. It really is. And as the show gets bigger, we add in more characters, but they all flow in naturally. And, the whole theme of this story is family. It's always about family. It's always been about family. And you got your typical, you love triangles there. The typical telenovela fashion, things are going wrong. Jane wants to be a writer. There's a proposal. There's conflicting views on her future. And, and I won't spoil season 2 through 5, but the story gradually, it does risky moves. It does take those leaps and those decisions that usually TV shows would never do. They would not do this, and given the nature of the show itself based on its genre, it does a great job with, using that to its advantage. And yeah, I think they told an amazing story from start to finish. And I really wish, hopefully one day I'll be able to talk about the show in full depth, do a proper season by season review of it. Because I want to talk about season 2. Season 3, oh my god, I think season 3, barring season 5 as well, was probably the best season of the story, because you got to see actual life changes, and we got to see something that I haven't seen before in any show I think I have seen it in a show before, but it's not popping in my head at the moment, but it very much took a very creative risk, and it paid off, and it worked for the story. And while again, with every love triangle, you're going to get an answer. People are going to be happy, people are not going to be happy. But the story made it work to the fact that there didn't need to be any infighting between the community. There didn't need to be any infighting between the fans against the writers for choices they made. The story made sense to the point where certain decisions at the end of the day made sense for what the story was at that certain point. And I feel like by the end of chapter 100, the story made sense. Now, they could have easily kept going. I would love to see these characters again at some point in the near future, but at least at this given moment, they ended the story off perfectly. And I felt like there could have been a couple of things better in season 5. I'll say that. I don't want to spoil anything for season 5, so I'll keep it there. But I honestly think they just did a great job with the story. Telling 100 chapter story is not an easy feat, and the fact they managed to did that and do it correctly was amazing. So, whole cast, got to give them credit for the whole thing. Shout out to the writer, the showrunners for creating an amazing story. And yeah, hopefully one day, this is a show I would love to do a proper, season by season review for. Maybe, actually, no, I'll keep it to myself for now. I'll keep it to myself for now. But anyway, so with that being said, Jane the Virgin, I highly recommend it. Please go watch it on Netflix. It's a great show. You're gonna love it. And you guys have the time for it. It's 100 chapters. You'll probably get through in about a month or so, maybe even quicker. But anyway, so I recommend Jane the Virgin. 2 thumbs up. I can't wait to talk about it hopefully someday in the near future. But that was kind of my brief series thoughts on it. And yeah, hopefully you'll go watch it and let me know in the comments. Did you actually watch Jane the Virgin? What did you think of it? Are you going to watch Jane the Virgin during this time period, during this lockdown period? Let me know. I'm always open to conversation in the comments below. And I think that's going to do it for me, guys. Sorry if this is a little bit of a short one. I'm kind of restricted on the whole no spoiler things on these whole series reviews. But we'll figure that out someday. We'll maybe improve on it. Let me know in the comments below how I can improve it. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Not insults, but constructive criticism. Anywho, again, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we're doing overall on What's in the Tube, we do Katie Clean chapter reviews every Saturday after its brand new episode on Thursday nights on the CW. We do the rookie episode reviews every single Monday after its brand new episode on Sunday on ABC. And, well, we used to do Nancy Drew reviews, but that wrapped up. That's why this Jane the Virgin series review is here now, because I'm filling in time before the Stargirl reviews, which will be starting up this coming May 17th. Yes, I think I got that right. Yeah, May 7th. Yeah, May 17th. May 17th will be our... No, wait. Damn, I forgot the dates. I forgot the dates again. I think it's somewhere... No, wait, it's 2 weeks from now. Wait, damn it! Stargirl's coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm sorry. You check those out. Those will be coming out very soon. Can't wait to start that sub-series of reviews. And so for next week, what are we doing next week, since we still have a little bit of time before we get to Stargirl? Next week, we're breaking into animation. I don't think I've done animation before. I'm not going to animate. Animation are different things. Well, technically, anime is technically Japanese animation, and then that would call us Western. Whatever. So, next week, we're doing something new. We're going to animation. I don't believe I went to animation before. We're talking about the very underrated, not known Nickelodeon series, As Told by Ginger. I got a lot of things to say about the show. I have a lot of memories about this show. And that show, that review, hopefully, I haven't recorded it yet, but I'm hoping it's going to create some magic. I'm hoping. But stay tuned for that. But that'll be next week. So, but if you were only interested in Jane the Virgin, hopefully some point in the near future, I will do Jane the Virgin season review. This show definitely deserves a proper, more analytic approach to the whole season. So hopefully someday I'll be able to do that. But until then, that's it for now. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. This was What's on the Tube from ActionX. Subscribe if you want to see more of us. Ring the bell for notifications when we have a new review live. Like, favorite, share if you want to. It really helps us out. And also, follow us on our social media feeds. And that's going to do it for me, guys. So, until next time, buenos dias. And I don't know how peace out is in Spanish. I'm a disgrace to my Spanish community. I'm sorry. Peace out.